We played just with them all game. We had a great game offensively.
The amount of time, the amount of effort, the amount of work we did last year for last season, paired with the success we had, hurt a lot.
I remember Billy Kemner coming up to me, and he was like, keep your head up. It's all good because we're going to come back next year.
By the time that the season ended that day, we were ready to go back at it again.
It was like, all right, I have a lacrosse season and then back to work. And it wasn't that. It was COVID. It's quarantine.
The past 3 years I've been here, we've been known as not a good team, but a really good team.
When I was a freshman, they went to the county chip. Next year they made the playoffs, and the year after that we went back to Hofstra. We don't only win on Saturdays, we gotta win in practice, we gotta come to the weight room, and you gotta compete every day.
It's a cultural thing. You lose people, but you keep a mentality.
We felt like we kind of had a legacy to live up to, and we had to live up to the name of the Mepham football program.
We had a lot of talent coming back.
I thought we'd be good in our throwing game.
Guys like Tom, Malloy, and Sereno, and me coming back with experience, we would be fine at the skill spots.
Like, obviously we lost key players, we lost basically the whole offensive line. You know that kids work hard, and so I was pretty optimistic because I knew that kids just had to step up.
I was coming in with a mindset of we're going to have all these summer practices, we're going to have the special camps, we're going to have weight room.
Working with the guys together, working out together, practicing together. It's not just making you stronger and better, but it's also building a chemistry in the team.
Last winter, it was like just some rumor in China. I wasn't really worried, but once they shut us down for 4 days, I knew it was over.
That was just the beginning of it, going into quarantine. Lacrosse was done, I was like, I don't even think we're gonna have a football season.
You saw how dangerous this virus really was to everyone, and how everyone really wanted to stay safe, and that obviously football is a great sport, but at the same time our families meant a lot more to us, and the safety of everyone else did too.
Once I heard Crackle saying that the season got pushed back, I kept saying to myself, it's just going to keep getting pushed back more and more, and that eventually the season wouldn't have even happened.
It was like mid-January after school on a Friday, and there had to be 20 of us. Tom, Billy, and Chris were all there. We're all playing basketball. And we all get a Twitter alert on our phone that they're going to finally let us play football.
Just as we barely got the approval to play, we knew that this opportunity could be taken back at any time. So I didn't really have to do anything because everyone else knew what this meant.
This is all we got to make the most of it. It's gonna be a short season, so we gotta go at it with everything.
First practice came out, got really excited, didn't want to take any plays off, wanted to go 100% because I knew it was my last ride. But I came out to the field and there was very little players. We had no numbers. Like certain spots we didn't even have backups in.
I was like, is this the whole team? Look around like, holy crap, like there is nobody here. I was like, this is gonna be bad if this is our entire team.
We had a very small senior class.
I remember thinking like, this is gonna be different. Usually the seniors take up a majority of the team, and now we're taking up the minority of the team.
A lot of young guys had to step up this year.
A couple days before the official season would start, coach was talking to us, trying to prepare us that we only had 12 days to prepare for a game.
Especially with the unexperienced guys who don't really know what it's like to play on varsity. So from going to JV to varsity for these guys in 2 weeks was kind of absurd, it's kind of unheard of.
You can't install as much as you want, you can't develop chemistry, you can't refine your skills. It's not how you're supposed to play a football season.
Tuesday on the second week of practice, 4 days before the first game, I caught my last ball as Mepham Pirate in practice. Billy hit me and I went to cut up field and I just kind of tripped over myself, landed on my shoulder.
Right when I saw him get up and him holding his shoulder, I kind of knew it was his collarbone.
The trainer, she told me she thought it was broken, and then head over to the doctor that day and then got an x-ray, and then they told me it was broken.
He was a two-way player last year, very important, and it just hurt.
That was devastating for me, knowing that I didn't even get to play a single game of my senior year before it was all over in the blink of an eye.
I would give him the captain of the defense because he always knew what he was doing. He was always there to help everyone out.
He's more than just a great player. He's just a different personality out there too. Like you lose part of chemistry not having someone you've been playing with for 4 years.
A lot of people look at him as almost like a little kind of guy, super skinny guy, but that just wasn't the case. He was actually extremely physical. He was a gritty guy, and he was the heart of our team.
With the small roster to begin with, the young roster to begin with, the next man up thing couldn't be more true.
Billy Kennedy didn't really play much defense as a quarterback, and he had to step up, he had to play safety.
My biggest concern, I guess, him getting hurt.
It did cross my mind a bunch of times, obviously, going into that first game, how playing both ways is a lot. It takes a toll on your body throughout the whole game.
I knew he'd be able to run both ways up and down. I know he's an athlete, he's a stud, he can figure it out.
We had to do whatever it took to get the best guys on the field in order to put us in a good situation to win.
It was the last play, go for the field goal. Obviously, I didn't block the field goal. And then I look around and I just see everybody, all the seniors, all the kids I look up to, just completely devastated.
It was my first playoff game as the starter, so looking around and seeing all the people at the game and how they entered with all their fans through the parking lot, I was definitely kind of shell-shocked.
And they were jumping around and dancing on the pirate before the game.
It's like a revenge game for us.
Before the game, I was handing out the squad pictures we had.
That got the team going crazy.
The picture they posted on their Instagram of them on our turf, on our walkway, taped it up all over the locker room, just to remind people that that game specifically was about more than just that game we were playing that day. That game goes back 2 years.
We definitely played well, offensively, defensively, on special teams.
We played very physical up front. We definitely won in the trenches.
Like we say every year, we start every year off 1-0, but that doesn't really describe our season. Winning one game doesn't give us anything besides a 1-0 record, so we have to go out and earn it every single week.
And I was pretty confident that we had a good team, even though we were young, pieced things together, and that we would continue to win games. MacArthur's always a good team. They've been a good team for as long as I've been a freshman.
They definitely smacked us last year. We got blown out by them, 42-0.
It didn't play into our minds that much because every year you think about it, you lose, and then you say, you gotta think about the seniors of last year.
We don't have the 4 offensive linemen, a running back, or other linebacker. They don't have Kelleher. It's 2 different football teams in 2 completely different years.
That game was definitely going to show us where we were at as a team.
Calhoun isn't the strongest, so we couldn't really gauge our skill and gauge our talent off of that one game.
We knew they would run it up our mouths, and we would have to stop them, be physical.
Up front, I mean, I saw the stat. Their average offensive lineman weighed 250 pounds. So we knew that up front we were young and small, and so up front it was going to be the biggest test.
For 4 quarters, you have to play with that same intensity and you have to step it up to their level in order to compete with them.
I want to say we kind of gave up at a certain point, end of the second quarter. We were in it. We were in it up until that point.
We kind of lost any intensity at all. It's just we showed like no motivation.
They were a team that lost in the county final last year, right? They lost in the county final. We lost in the county semifinal. Everything about from the second we got there, they looked like a team that was hungry.
It's not given to us every year going to Hofstra or going to the playoffs. It's in the culture here that we win, but you can't just hope that it happens. You have to work for it and you have to earn it. The week and a half prior, there wasn't really much life at practice. It was kind of just everyone going through the motions.
Practice poor, you play poor. That's exactly what it was.
Everyone was kind of scared, they didn't want to get banged up for the game. They didn't want to tackle during the game.
Opening up practice with the Oklahoma drills was amazing. I couldn't even think of the last time we did those.
It brought out the emotions in everyone. No one wanted to get shown up in front of the whole team.
Guys were getting hyped, laying people out, running people over. It was really good for mountain football.
Lehigh Park, it was a game where we saw we can get back on track after a pretty bad loss.
Playing maybe a lower seed or a team that was definitely beatable, you knew you had to play your best. You had to come prepared every single Saturday.
We knew after being 1-1 that this game was going to be very important if we were hoping of making the playoffs.
With a small margin for error, it was a must-win game.
That was the most difficult bus ride I've ever sat on. Just think about it, our season was on the brink.
It's embarrassing. You just sit there mad at yourself.
Once again, our physicality just kept showing up. We got killed in the trenches, offensively and defensively. I think we only had, 20 rushing yards?
Just starting the game off on them returning a kickoff or a touchdown.
It's like the life is taken right out of us because we already lose 7-0.
We were getting bailed out by flags from the refs that were the only reasons we made stops defensively. We weren't hitting hard, we weren't making tackles, we were just trying to grab guys with arms, grab jerseys.
The mentality we had before the game, right? That's the reason we lost. So we're big bad Mepham, they're New Hyde Park. It's not supposed to happen. And when you go out there and play like you think you're just gonna win by just stepping out there, you get shit on. There's still hope to make the playoffs, right? We were a high seed. If we go out and beat Cary, we go out, beat Garden City, we go out and beat Sewanaka, right? It's possible.
We definitely have to flip gears and kind of rewrite the ship.
We try to put the loss against New Hyde Park behind us and just focus solely on Cary, knowing they had a bunch of athletes like they always do.
We saw that they were 0-3, but that really didn't mean a lot to us because they did play a lot of good teams. We knew it was kind of a do or die game. All these games are going to be do or die.
The senior players and families have made outstanding contributions to the Mepham football family and the school community. Today we honor them for their dedication, leadership, outstanding Mepham Pirate careers. The following seniors will forever be Mepham Pirates. Please join me in welcoming the seniors and their families.
It was very special, especially with my mom. She really wanted me to walk out with her and do that.
My parents have bought me everything, cleats, gloves, pads. They've been at my games. They've watched me get hurt, score, mess up, do good.
The bright moment for our tight group of seniors and what was kind of a screwed up year, having our senior day and walking out with everybody. It was just reality setting in that our season was short, but we're trying to kind of make the most of it and trying to make the best out of what we had.
My parents have always been so supportive of me playing football, me pursuing my dream to play college football too. And so being able to step out with them on that field, especially for a year we didn't think we were gonna have, it really meant a lot.
After those 4 years of standing there watching everyone else walk out with their parents and family, that you would never really have to go through it. Even last year, it felt like a while until it was gonna be me. It was cool though because it's my last year playing sports with everyone, especially my brother.
We fought back to 7 or 6 or 8.
We kind of saw how the challenges in the past made us a little bit more gritty, and we kind of showed our toughness there.
I knew we were making the playoffs at that point. Yeah.
Definitely hurt. was a big blow to me, and I know a lot of other seniors.
It's kind of weird knowing that our football career was over in 2 weeks and that there was nothing we could really do about it. All season, I kept getting banged up in my one leg, and I kept taping it, I kept stretching it out, I had to ice it every week.
Billy was a huge thing. One of the best leaders on the team, pushed us at practice.
And against the carry, I got tackled in a weird position, out of bounds.
He was our quarterback, the glue of our offense. 3-year starter, senior captain.
He has a connection with all of us, all receivers, linemen, running backs.
I came back in the game because I thought it was the same injury every week. I kind of just kept spraining it. So coming back in and scoring, but then I realized running into the end zone, I couldn't put any pressure on it. So there was definitely something different, and there was definitely something wrong with it.
Seeing him come to school the next week in a boot was just demoralizing.
It was definitely weird knowing that my career wasn't going to be over from a loss. It was just kind of going to be over from an injury.
It just kind of confirmed that this season was kind of like cursed. It was just so screwed up.
I could agree with that. It almost feels like it's just a bad dream with Billy getting hurt, not having camp, playing in the spring. Like the whole season was just like a blip in Mepham football, I felt like.
Especially with me, the seniors too, that we only had a couple games left, and it was just bust your ass, just give it 100%.
It was tough to handle knowing that we have an even tougher team to play with, a very limited amount of guys to put in.
We had a bunch of quarantine problems, and the state of the team was just kind of at an all-time low.
The coach was saying that he wasn't sure if he wanted to go into this Garden City game.
They would have a whole sideline filled up with players, and we would have maybe like 20 yards.
So I cracked my decision to not go into the GC game.
At first I was kind of saying I felt like a lot of guys thought we should have played the game, being that it would be our last time playing on our home field.
You want to play as many games as you can, especially with the shortened season, this weird year.
I don't think we would have won. I don't think it was going to be necessarily a safe with the amount of kids we were missing. The kids we'd have to put in didn't know what they were doing. They weren't big enough. They were young.
Garden City doesn't get COVID tested too, so somebody could contract it like that and then our season would be done. So I think it might have been the right decision to play it safe and go ahead and wait to play the Sewanaka game.
You don't realize how fast it goes by until it's that last week of practice.
Certain guys aren't even going to play football or even any sport ever again. Have to give it 100%. You have to go hard. You have to have fun, especially.
You just try to go out there every day and really just cherish it.
All the drills, all the 7-on-7s, defensive indies, everything.
I remember watching my teammates and looking at them knowing like these guys are a strong set of guys. I know they were just pushing through pain.
That's what pride is. It's playing and it's doing what you're supposed to do when it's over. There's no playoffs, the season was a bust, but you still go out there.
Some other guys may just call it a day and sit out of practice, but it just showed how tough these guys are.
Pride is playing hard when there's 5 minutes left on the clock and you're down 3 scores in the last high school football game. That's what pride is. It's playing your best when it seems like all hope is lost.
as the fourth quarter came around. I remember watching it with 10 minutes left and then looking back up and seeing 7 and 4 and 2 and then 1 minute left on the clock, and it was tough because I just wanted it to freeze.
Hurt a lot. Knowing it was the last time I was gonna put helmet on, pads on, just going out there with my team.
Even though I was on the sidelines for the whole season, I just didn't want to end the camaraderie.
You don't look at the clock winding down as almost something that you regret, but almost something that you're thankful for because of how lucky that we are to have football in our lives and how thankful we should be that we get to come out here every day and play the sport that we love with our friends.
You know, even though we had a season of football, we didn't really have like the full season.
It was 6 games. We weren't very good.
Going into Mepham as a freshman, you see all the seniors working out together, having fun together. I thought we were just gonna be the same way, doing what the team has done for the past 3 years.
Football obviously isn't just about the games on Saturday.
We didn't get to work out for the summer and practice every day and do 2 days and wake up early to lift.
You have 2 weeks of being together from 7 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon. Like, you develop a chemistry with your teammates that you can't create in 14 days. 7 a.m. lifts, like, you learn so much about people. Who's the first person at lift, who leaves the first, who shows up, who doesn't, who comes late, who actually tries. You can tell who's hungover at a lift. And that's where respect is earned. A good bond, good chemistry comes from the respect you earn in a place like that, and we didn't have that.
We didn't get the pasta dinners every Friday night. That means a lot to us because what's better than eating the best food in the world with your friends for a couple hours, getting to talk to them.
It doesn't feel real that that was my senior season of football. I think what a lot of coaches think about legacy is wrong, about how many games you win, what your record is. Because if the measure of your legacy is your record, then our legacy's shit. Because we went 1-5. It's not that. It's a cultural thing. It's about your ethic and your work ethic at practice. It's about you pushing the younger kids, continuing the program.
I was still glad that we got to have that bonfire because usually we have that before the first playoff game.
I remember my freshman year, all the older guys in the speech, everyone says the 4 years go quick, 4 years go quick. I thought it was kind of cheesy. I'm like, I got time.
Now was the time I was actually in their position, talking to the underclassmen about my football career and the screwed up year this year that we got.
You kind of do pass along the journey of what Mepham football really is.
What did being a Mepham Pirate mean to me? I feel like it just played a role of my entire young adult life. If you consider high school that, it's completely come to shape who I am.
Being a Mepham Pirate meant that I had to represent the community in the way that everyone else in the past did, because a lot of the younger guys in the community come to the games, they watch the high school games, they look in the paper every single Sunday morning, and you're kind of a role model for a lot of people in the school because you're on the football team.
The first thing that comes to mind is playing in front of a bunch of fans and playing in front of the whole town every year, or what used to be every year before COVID and everything like last year. I think that was the most memorable things for me, being able to just really play on what felt like a big stage.
I'm a self-disciplined person. I'm responsible, right? I have a good work ethic, but being here just heightens every positive quality that you come into this program with. If you have the slightest bit of self-respect, of work ethic, it is going to increase
coming to practice every day, losing games, being able to cope with losing games, getting better from losing games. It makes you a better person.